sports, tell you what.
It's like it's no longer a golf game. It's almost debating your wife when she chases you. Pretty terrible.
Now it's because he floored it. He hit his car too, right?
Yeah.
You gotta see it. It's funny. So.
You guys, no one's going live, right?
No.
Yes. Oh, you are?
Hey, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming. My name is Sergeant Jason Robillard. That's R-O-B-I-L-L-A-R-D. I'm a Media Relations Officer with the Vancouver Police Department. First, I'm going to speak to you about our preparations for the 420 event this Saturday. My colleague, Constable Doucette, will be able to take some questions and a bit of an update on last night's homicide in Kits. I'll also be available after the 420 information on any other questions that you may have. The Vancouver Police are preparing for the upcoming 420 event, and we're asking parents to have a conversation with their children about the risks of attending a large, unsanctioned cannabis event. With the warm weather, the long weekend, and the free concert, we recognize that this year's 420 event may be a big draw for teens. Like other large public events, our focus will be on the safety of the attendees, the general public, and first responders. But we will be paying special attention to vendors to ensure that they are not selling to minors. Booth operators are encouraged to make it a priority to identify minors and to post signs in front of each booth that discourage sales to young people. The VPD has also been working with the City of Vancouver and the Vancouver Park Board to plan for this year's 420 event. There will be a visible police presence at the event. In addition to patrol officers, the VPD's Public Safety Unit, our gang crime unit, will be on site. We'll be focusing on monitoring the sales to those who appear to be minors. We'll be taking action if sales are observed. We'll also be looking for impaired drivers by drugs and/or alcohol. Drivers can expect to see police drug recognition experts and officers equipped with alcohol screening devices on the roads throughout the day and the evening. We'll also be monitoring for any gang members or associates in the crowd. The VPD will continue to do anything possible, including enforcement as required, to maintain the safety of the public and reduce any negative impact to the people not associated with the event who are living in that area, working, and also visiting the area. I'm open to any questions that you have about our preparations.
How practical is it to make any arrests given the scale and size of this event? Isn't it kind of hard to just try to track someone down when there's that many people around? If you do, it's pretty easy for somebody to run away, isn't it?
Well, during any large-scale event, officers that are on the ground will have to make that decision at the time, and we will balance officer safety with public safety on whether or not we are to have any enforcement action taken at any large-scale event.
You said there would be arrests made if there are sales to minors, but what about other individuals? I mean, it is illegal now selling.
Well, our focus, and again, we have to weigh officer safety, the safety of the public, with any enforcement action. And this is for any large-scale event. We have to look at the proportionality of what is happening in front of us with whether or not it creates more of an unsafe environment for us to do any type of enforcement action for any large-scale event. That being said, we are paying special attention to anybody that may sell to anyone that appears to be a minor.
When you talk about the risks of this unsanctioned event, what are they? I know in the past, some of these events, there have been concerns over edibles as one item that could cause something similar to an overdose. Could you just expand on what the risks are?
Well, like we said earlier, we're asking for parents to have the tough conversation with your kids about many things. This weekend it's going to be a large-scale event. It's over the weekend. The weather appears to be favorable. There's going to be a free concert, a large crowd, and this is a cannabis event, so it's focused on cannabis. So we want parents to have a conversation with their youth, with their teens, about the dangers associated to cannabis and/or other drugs and/or large unsanctioned events.
How many more kids are you expecting, given that it is a Saturday as opposed to a weekday when it's normally held? Are you expecting double the number of youth, triple? Like, do you have any sense? Have you made any estimates on that?
I haven't heard any estimates, and I wouldn't want to speculate on what we're thinking, but obviously we think this may attract some youth. It has in the past, so we're basing it on what's happened in the past for this year. And we're asking parents and anybody that may be a role model to a youth or a teen to have that tough conversation about risks associated to these large events.
What sort of age range are you talking about with youth at an event like this?
Well, early to later teens. Okay, thank you.
Everybody, thanks for coming down this morning. Just going to provide a little bit of information on the city's fourth homicide of 2019. On Tuesday night at around 8:30, the Vancouver Police received numerous 911 calls reporting the sounds of shots being fired in the area of West 4th Avenue and Burrard Street. Our officers arrived minutes later to find a 30-year-old Vancouver man suffering from gunshot wounds in a vehicle, and unfortunately he died at the scene. There was information received of a vehicle leaving the scene. A description was provided, and just around midnight, we were made aware by the Vancouver Fire Rescue Service of a vehicle on fire on West 22nd Avenue near Arbutus Street. We have seized that vehicle. We have not yet confirmed it's related to the homicide investigation, but we're looking into that. It's still very early in the investigation. We've not yet made any arrests. The 30-year-old victim from Vancouver, we're not yet releasing his name. We want to ensure that the next of kin have been notified. We don't want people finding out about this horrible event about a loved one from us on TV. We're asking anybody with information about this incident or who may have been driving in the area with dash cam footage, which is 4th and Burrard on Tuesday night at around 8:30. We're asking you to come forward. Contact our investigators at 604-717-2500 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. And I'll try my best to answer any questions. Again, it's very, very early in the investigation, so we're not going to have a lot to share at this point, and we anticipate releasing additional information in the near future.
Is this believed to be gang-related?
There's no information right yet. Sorry. I don't have any information yet on motive and whether or not it's gang-related at this point. We're not ruling anything out. It's very important that anyone with information about this event call us.
Is he known to police?
I'm not going to get into anything specific about the victim in this investigation yet.
Do you know how many suspects you might be looking for?
I don't have that information at this point. Again, it's still so early in the investigation. We're about 14 hours since the shooting itself. We really have to figure out exactly what we're dealing with before we start sharing information publicly. At this point, it appears to be a targeted shooting. We don't believe that the general public are at risk, but again, if anyone sees anything suspicious or believes they have information, contact the police.
What leads police to believe it may be a targeted shooting?
It just appears to have all the hallmarks of a targeted shooting. We've got one vehicle in a busy area. We've got one person in a vehicle. We've got a number of shots that have been fired directly into that vehicle. So that leads us to believe that it's targeted.
Is he alone in the vehicle at the time of the shooting?
The information I have right now, he was alone at the time. We're asking anybody with additional information that may differ from that to give our investigators a call. That information would be important.
Given that you can't tell us for sure if this car on fire is related to it, this seems to be a trend lately throughout the region. How is it complicating investigations when you're finding this vehicle on fire shortly after shootings like this? It must just kind of magnify the work your people have to do.
Anytime that there's a vehicle involved and it flees the scene, we're interested in having a look at that vehicle to see if there's any evidence in there, forensic evidence, if it could lead to a suspect or suspects. Our main goal here is public safety, and we want to hold the people accountable. Lighting a vehicle on fire does pose certain challenges for the police, but we also have other tools in our tool belt that may allow us to pull evidence from that. So we're not going to rule anything out. We're going to go over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Can you confirm if you worked in the area?
I don't have that information.
Any idea how many shots were fired? What kind of weapon was used?
Nothing that we're releasing at this point. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, just real quick, Jason, sorry, where was that burned out vehicle found exactly again?
Just after midnight, Vancouver Fire Rescue Service notified the VPD of a vehicle fire on West 22nd Avenue near Arbutus. We have seized that vehicle, and we're working to determine whether or not it's related to this investigation.
Any links known to that restaurant? There was a restaurant where the car was.
I'm not aware of any links to any restaurant whatsoever. Going back to the vehicle, just right around midnight last night, we were notified of an SUV that was on fire on West 22nd Avenue near Arbutus. We're asking anybody who may have been in that area, may have seen anyone getting into that vehicle, getting into other vehicles, running away, please don't assume that someone else has told us that information. Give us a call. That could be a very important piece for us. Thank you.
Thank you.